Well, the time is just gone 8:30 p.m. as we continue with our broadcast this evening, Wednesday nights. It is with myself, Inayat Wadi. Now, for the next half an hour, we will be talking with the public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane. And for many of us who have been following the news, we know what has been playing out at this point in time, where we know that with the suspension that had expired with regard to the public protector after the Section 194 Commission of Inquiry, and this is into the fitness of the public protector to hold office. Subsequently, we've seen yesterday, we've seen the public protector leaving her office. She went home because saying that she doesn't have state protection. And also at the same time, this letter from President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday morning informing the public protector that she had wrongly interpreted that when she could return to office. And we have the pleasure of the company of the public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane, with us this evening. Advocate Busisiwe, good evening to you. And we thank you for taking time out and talking to us this evening right here on Salam Media.
Good evening to you and to your viewers and listeners at Salam Media. Thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to participate in your show.
Yes, well, we are giving you the opportunity, considering what has been playing out in the last few days, I would say even in the last few months. And perhaps before we get to what has taken place yesterday and the exchange of communication with the president, with yourself as well, let's just take a step back and let's look at, where this thing had actually started and the Section 94 Commission of Inquiry that was set up, or the committee of inquiry that was set up into establishing whether you are fit to hold office or not. And just take us through some of the critical issues or these key issues that you would like to share with us this evening.
Thank you so much. Yes, the process started in February 2020 when there was a motion by the DA member, Ms. Mazon, who wrote to the speaker, and the speaker then was Ms. Thandi Modise, indicating that, I should be undergoing the impeachment. In fact, no, not the impeachment, but then that I am not fit to hold office and accusing me of misconduct, especially because of the judgments relating to the Reserve Bank matter. And there was still a judgment which was pending relating to the so-called rogue unit of SARS and the Friede matter. And what then transpired was that I responded to that, a request for me to comment on that. And I informed the speaker then that they are wrong in how they are conducting the process, because I cannot be held to or punished for something which has happened before the complaint is lodged. And then all of a sudden, Ms. Mazon then managed to work with one of the disgruntled employees of the office, Mr. Samuel Hamilton, who was facing disciplinary hearing because it transpired when we were being sued as an institution by Mr. Siabe that he was assaulted by Mr. Samuel in the past, and there was a recent conviction of Mr. Samuel for assault. So Mr. Siabe was suing the institution. Then I said, the CEO, let them follow up, because as an institution, we need to be accountable and just then conduct misconduct proceedings. Then Samuel wrote to the speaker and appeared as if he was a whistleblower complaining. Then Ms. Mazon got that opportunity to use that to then resubmit an amended motion. That's when the speaker agreed, and then the process started by then. So the speaker then appointed an independent panel by November 2020 to investigate and check whether I can be dealing with the matter. Sorry for that.
No, it's fine. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. That's fine. Yes, I think for some reason we are trying to re-establish connection. For some reason we have lost connection. And see the there we go. If you could just unmute your mic, please, Advocate.
I'm fine now.
Yes, perfect. We see you clearly.
Okay. Yes, and yeah, yes, and then that's what then transpired in November 2020 when they appointed this independent panel. It was led by Judge Besinka Binde, and then they discovered that they said there's a prima facie case for me to answer. And Besinka Binde was with one advocate, Van der Merwe and Van der Walt, and Judge, Advocate Dumisan Zebeza. Then after that, the matter went to the Speaker, and the Speaker then took it to Parliament. They adopted that particular report. And after that, they voted in favor of the parliamentary inquiry that was in March 2021. Then in July 2021, the committee then held its first meeting and decided on the draft program. And they started to deal with the matter. And by then in March, the Speaker then wrote to the President, informing the President that the committee is established, and as well that there are evidence leaders which have been appointed. So the committee has had up to 28 witnesses, and out of those 28 witnesses, I think around 23 or 24 are the committee witnesses. And the proceeding started in July 2022. As you would know, that was suspended in June 2022. It's more than a year now. And my suspension anyway was triggered by the 31 questions which I sent to the president relating to the Phala Phala investigation. So the hearings have been conducted, and I said to the committee, I'm participating under a protest because there were matters before court. I was challenging the rules as well. And on challenging the rules, at first, they didn't even want me to have legal representation. And I was also challenging the issue that they were dealing with matters which already the courts have decided on. And at the Constitutional Court, then, fortunately, they agreed that I need legal representation. So then I started my testimony this year. And when I was testifying, I only covered 2 charges out of the 5 charges which I was facing. So I managed to respond to the charge relating to the so-called rogue unit of SARS. I managed to respond to the charge relating to the CR17 Busasa complaint. I was still supposed to respond to the charges relating to the Friede investigation, the so-called Reserve Bank CX investigation, and the charge relating to the complaints by the employees or HR related matters. So unfortunately, then what transpired is that the chairperson and the committee, the process stopped in March, end of March 2023, because the office stopped paying for the legal representation. They said they don't have funds. That was in March 2023. And the process stopped during my testimony. And hence I'm saying I only covered 2 issues. And then they were up and about requesting state institutions, treasury to avail resources. Finally, they managed to identify the resources, which is 4 million. And then before we continued, my attorneys of record withdrew because of professional reasons. And one had to then start the process of looking for other attorneys. In the process, during the hearings, there were instances where the chairperson proceeded with the matter without my legal representation, or even myself. When I was sick, they proceeded. And the chairperson also then continued with the process when I was not having legal representation because of the office or acting public protector stopping the funding of my legal team. So that's where we've been. The short background, as succinct as possible, I tried to summarize.
Yes. Now, also, Advocate, we know that it hasn't been easy times for public protectors during your tenure of office now, and also the previous public protector. And it somehow sounds that this is problematic, but to a large extent, in terms of the position of public protector, politically motivated. You've mentioned a number of instances. You spoke about the SARS rogue unit. You've spoken about CR-17. You've spoken about the Reserve Bank issue as well, and Pala Pala. Now, these are obviously major issues. And at the end of the day, it is about the public being protected. And just how problematic or how difficult is the public protector's position at this point in time against the background of all these issues that have been playing out?
Thank you for that and for raising the fact that even my predecessor experienced these challenges and was insulted and treated badly. The biggest challenge with me, lucky for her, the judgment was issued, I think, around March 2016. And for me, then, when I started in October 2016, already the Nkandla judgment was out, and which is saying the remedial actions of the public protector are binding unless set aside by a court of law. Then that process led to the challenges which we were facing as an institution, a lot of court applications where those we've investigated, when they don't agree with our findings, take us to court. Then the challenge then came about where, with the Reserve Bank matter, the Pretoria High Court decided that I didn't investigate the matter properly. And at any rate, that matter was with the office for the past 6 years because it was launched during my predecessor's time. And we managed to finalize that matter, but then I ended up at the Constitutional Court, and I was then clobbered with personal costs, which fortunately the public had to pay. But then that's the problems which then started, because everyone didn't want to be held to account, and then they take the institution to court. The challenges we are facing as South Africa is that with other ombudsmen in the African continent, their recommendations are mere recommendations. And there's a persuasive way of engaging government institutions to implement them. Our challenge in South Africa is that the court, by saying our remedial actions are binding, then it led to people thinking we are operating as if we are a court, whereas our main duty as public protector is to support and strengthen constitutional democracy. Indeed, it has been a very tough 7 years, because I'll be 7 years on the 14th of October, and my term is coming to an end. But the challenging issue is that the committee, through its riddled illegalities process, they've decided that they will recommend to the National Assembly that I be removed as public protector. I was doing my work. I faced challenges of personal costs whilst doing my work to protect the public, ignoring the fact that under my leadership, first time in the history of this institution, acquiring 3 clean audits, and with improved performance, where we've managed to protect the poor and the marginalized. Unfortunately, removed just for only 4 matters, which the institution tried to defend on, so that we are trying to make sure that members of the executive are held to account. So that's what I would say, that unfortunately, one is now facing this persecution because of only few matters. But then again, judges, when they lose their matters or matters are set aside by the higher courts, no one will say they are incompetent or they must be removed from office.
Yes. Now, also, Advocate, these latest developments now, obviously, with the wrapping up of the Committee of Inquiry, the Section 194 Committee of Inquiry, you are obviously under the impression that the suspension has expired. And this is what you had done. You had actually written to the president of the country. And this letter that came through yesterday, obviously informing you otherwise. And to the extent that the statement was made that you have no right or entitlement in law to return to office.
Which is, I don't agree with. I still don't agree with. I just left that and went there to address members of the public because I've informed the media that I'll be going to the office, and I informed the president. The presidential minute, which the president issued, attaching it to my letter of suspension, it's very clear that the suspension is pending the finalization of the proceedings or inquiry initiated by the committee of the National Assembly established in terms of Section 194 of the committee of the Constitution. And if the president issues a presidential minute and craft it in such a way that it differs completely to what the letter of suspension was saying, which was saying the presidential minute recording the decision of suspending me is required in terms of Section 101 of the Constitution, and that I will remain suspended until the Section 194 process of the National Assembly has come to its conclusion. So he should have made sure that the presidential minute is captured as what he said in the letter. The presidential minute takes precedence over the letter which he wrote. And even the letter of yesterday, speaking about me misinterpreting and the issue of interpretation of statute, he and the people who are advising him are misinterpreting the clear meaning of the presidential minute. And if for him to change any presidential minute, a presidential minute is like a law, an act. You cannot just change it using a letter just to clarify yourself. And the essential misconception which was contained in his letter is that the words of proceedings or inquiry, both in the Section 1943 and the presidential minute, do not include other parts of the process. So the most important thing as well, I was listening to Spaces yesterday. One young lawyer was even referring to a case law. There is a recent Constitutional Court judgment of Mkhwebane where they dealt with the presidential minute, and they even clearly said that, especially the minority judgment of the Chief Justice, you cannot change the presidential minute using a letter. And once you issue the presidential minute to the receiver of that, you cannot come back and change it because you are already functus officio, or you've already taken a decision. So that's all what I was saying. But unfortunately, that has been construed as if I don't understand the law. I am being this person who is just a helter-skelter. And I was just trying to show the president. And if you suspend somebody, it doesn't mean that you dismissing that person or you are you've taken a decision, but it was a precautionary suspension. And in public service, that happens where you suspend a person, you investigating, you conducting everything. When the Public Service Act says a certain period has expired, the person can come back to work, and then you finalize the matter whilst the person is employed. So I think there's that issue that, well, when it comes to Mkhwebane, there's different rules and ball game for me. So I'm now waiting for the Monday voting, and unfortunately, I know the predetermined outcome, and that we were warned as well. I mean, what I didn't mention is that besides the fact that the chairperson is conflicted, was the issue that the chairperson sent the late Vina Jomat Peterson to extort a bribery from my husband. So all those things, we've got evidence, just to prove what has transpired. But I
Yes.
think I must be removed at all costs.
Well, definitely. In fact, now that you speak about, this is a matter of interpretation in terms of your suspension. Now, I've seen, obviously, you've made certain statements with regard to the deputy public protector as well, because it does appear as if, according to the deputy public protector, it's a foregone conclusion that you have been dismissed. And, these are obviously issues. And I think you make mention of the fact that this is embarrassing because it shows that what she's accused of being a president's protector is true. Who is paying you? The president. The question is, you are suspended with full benefits at this point in time. So while you are enjoying the benefits, the interpretation, and I'm not a legal eagle, but I think in any layman's understanding of the legal interpretation is you are suspended with full benefits, which tells you that you have not been dismissed as yet, and as a result, the whole parliamentary vote that will be taking place on Monday.
True, because I'm still the public protector of South Africa. The unfortunate part, that's why I was saying she shouldn't have interfered. She shouldn't have even issued the statement. She should have just kept quiet, because I was addressing this matter to the president. I copied her and the speaker as a matter of courtesy. And indeed, the response was so embarrassing. How do you say I'm not an employee when all my benefits are paid by the institution? Yes, I'm appointed and I'm accountable to Parliament. But the fact of the matter is, it was so unnecessary to just issue the statement. Indeed, she's been treating this matter as if I am dismissed. I mean, they withdrew my attorneys of records. And that's why I was saying that to the president. The chairperson of the committee is saying, I'm done with the report, I'm functus officio. The public protector and the state attorney, they write to my attorneys, they say, we are withdrawing the attorneys, the section 194 process is complete. And confusing the whole section 194 process, focusing only on the inquiry. But I don't blame them, because the presidential minute is saying the inquiry. And if they do that, then it means I must go back to the office, because the suspension has expired. And now this is serious, because whatever decision she's taking, with effect from when this report of the committee has been issued, because that's what the presidential minute is saying, then it means whatever she does is invalid. And again, exposing that institution to such interference and unnecessary subjection to the executive, the executive, which we are responsible to be investigating. So I think it was not proper for her to do that. And I think as well, I am still the public protector. I'm still receiving the benefits until the 14th of October.
Yes. Now, just talking about the benefits, and one of the issues that has cropped up has been this gratuity. And I think the DA, correct me if I'm wrong, has been trying to obviously get rid of you. And obviously, this is something that you would have received, this gratuity at the end of the term of your office.
Yes, I mean, they say pension. I don't know where then that comes into this issue. Firstly, the DA is the one, I mean, they never wanted me to be appointed. Secondly, the issue of the gratuity is not even a pension. I'm not the president. I'm not the judge. Remember, the president, once impeached, they can stop the benefits because they receive benefits for life. The judges, they receive benefits for life. The public protector, the very same parliament in 2002, during Mushwana's time, the then public protector Mushwana, they adopted the conditions of service of the public protector, and they are indicating on vacating the office, this is the gratuity with the public protector should be getting. So now they are just putting this out there. I don't know for what reason. And I think that will seriously be challenged, because they'll have to prove why is that an issue for them. And you can see that this is so vindictive of the DA. Hence, I said to you, I paid personal costs. I'm still appearing in court for the so-called perjury matter. I must now suffer and remaining with few days in office just because they are vindictive. They just want to punish me and remove me from office. Why do that? Why spend monies to do that? On top of that, now they are putting this thing in people's minds that no, even the very same pension, she mustn't get the pension. Where does it go? A public servant working for the government for ages, when they are dismissed, they do get portion of their pension benefits. So I don't know why must I be subjected to that.
Yes, and just finally, coming to Monday now, we've seen the ATM make a request for a secret ballot. And they've raised a number of issues, Advocate. Obviously, they've looked at the numbers, the official opposition, looking at the ANC as well, talking about the ANC in particular, notorious for using the party line in coercing members of parliament to actually vote. And then also going on looking at the grounds for which they are making this request. The Secretary General making references, Secretary General of the ANC, official spokesperson, and already making pronouncements prematurely that, you are guilty and you need to be removed. Now, all of that actually has been playing out, and the ATM is now making this submission to Parliament so that there can be a secret ballot, and also at the same time even making reference to the president himself in terms of being biased towards you is in the performance of your duties, and mainly as a result of CR17 and Palapala.
Yes, the ATM and the UDM, they have written to the speaker requesting for the secret ballot. That's what I've also seen in the media. And indeed, the president is conflicted. Even the very same members of the committee, the very same members of the ethics committee, where I lodged the complaint about the alleged extortion by Janji Tina Jumat Peterson and the chief whip of the ANC. And one has seen how they operated even during the committee, because they just go with the numbers. They don't check the factual and the fairness of the process. And the other issue is that the Secretary General of the ANC, who instructed them to go there in numbers to vote for Galeka as the public protector, is the very same person who went on and said, I'm the former public protector, whilst I'm still the public protector, went on and on at the Western Cape conference, that actually Galeka is the most qualified person. So, this process is riddled with a lot of inconsistencies, violating the core basic constitution of the country. We will see how the speaker will decide. And indeed, the Supreme Court of Appeal decided that the speaker cannot come back and say there is no victimization or threat to members, but as well, members must vote with their conscience. They must respect the constitution. They are in parliament because the public entrusted them with this. The country is facing load shedding, deaths, everything, poverty, people are poor. But then what they do, the ANC and the DA, they go there and vote for the removal of the head of a Chapter 9, a constitutional institution, just because of being vindictive and remaining with only few days, instead of going there, taking very serious and strategic decisions about the impact of load shedding to the economy, to employment, to small businesses. They are not doing that.
Yes, and just finally, Advocate, personally for you, looking ahead at Monday, are you concerned in your heart of
Definitely, I
hearts?
am. How can I not be concerned? Because my fate will be decided there, and I will be just publicly removed from office. And then after that, they'll have to take the matter to the president, the very same president I investigated, the very same president, Jalo Chairperson, who apparently was also the chairperson of the one of the campaigns managers of the CR17. Now the husband to the complainant, those people will be voting for my removal. And indeed, I'm concerned, but anyway, let it be. And I will challenge the whole process. That's my last hope to do. Nothing else, because anyway, they've decided. But I think it's for the people of South Africa to see how a constitutional institution head is treated, and they need to be very concerned about their own protection.
Yes, I've just seen a little question that's come up here. Just I mentioned your personal views on Cyril Ramaphosa. That's one of the listeners wants to know.
You know, the president is the constitutional being. I think in the Nkandla judgment, CJ Mkhwebane said, you know, the president is a constitutional being. And investigating the president for South Africa and the world at large, I never went out there and said, I want to investigate President Ramaphosa. The DA, the very same DA under Mwisi Maimane, is the one which lodged the complaint. And the matter was allocated to very capable investigators. It's not me who was doing even the investigation. It's the investigators who uncovered a lot of evidence, which for me, I then compiled a report, sat with the president, took him through the preliminary report, the evidence which we had, and the report was purely issued, and remedial actions of the private protector are not guilt verdict, but we are saying you've done wrong here, correct it in the future, don't repeat this, stop doing that.
Yes,
So, but now if they come back or he comes back and think that I am fighting him or doing anything wrong, what I could say to him is that, you know what, the president, our country is burning. Our country is a failed state, basically. I think that's what we should be focusing on.
well, let's see what materializes on Monday. But for now, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, we thank you very much, and we truly appreciate you taking time out and being in the company of Salam Media this evening. We wish you all the best, and please take care.
Thank you so much to you and your viewers and listeners. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, that was Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane with us this evening against what has been playing out. And clearly, Monday is going to be very, very interesting. And as you mentioned, she is concerned, and naturally, anybody would under the circumstances. But again, the point that she is making, and again, priorities, looking at the country, and we all know that at this point in time, the country is burning. The country is has gotten to a state, as you mentioned, the country is actually a failed state as well. And how much focus is there on remedying the ills and the problems, and as we're sitting right now, stage 6 load shedding that we're sitting with as well. And there's just so many other issues. I'm not too sure how true some of the reports are with regard to the government actually running out of money as well. We've seen a few reports, but that needs to be verified as well. So we can't comment a lot on that, but these are issues that have been doing the rounds. But with that, I'm going to be signing off once again. It's been an absolute pleasure being in the company of our listeners, our viewers this evening, right here on Wednesday nights with myself, Inayat Wadi. So from myself in the team, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.